Australian pottery. This is amazing. There are so many potters we could talk about, hundreds, literally hundreds. You know, you get Gladys Rennells, your Clyde Pates, your McHughes, your John Campbell, your Ramoods, your Bosleys, your John Castle Harrises. There's so many we can talk about. But we're going to take a bit of a snapshot. We're going to pick 4 or 5 of the Australian potters to talk about, more of the common ones that you'll find amongst your house. So come with me on the next 4 episodes as we talk about Australian pottery. Hi, Jason Harris here from Scammells Auctions, and welcome to our first episode of Discover. And we're going to explore Australian pottery. Huge amount to talk about. So this episode we're going to talk about John Campbell. So let's go through the history of John Campbell first. Born 1857 in New Zealand, came over with his family, and he apprenticed in Melbourne in the Bendigo Pottery Works, which was created by George Guthrie, and that was around about 1858. At the age of 23, he moved to Tasmania, and along with his father-in-law, they purchased the Alfred Cornwall's Victorian and Tasmanian Pottery Works in Launceston, and that was right near McHughes. And John Campbell's became one of the largest, if not the largest, potters in Tasmania, and one of the largest ones in Australia. Now, David D, remember that name. It's an important one for episode 2. David D apprenticed at the Pottery Works with John Campbell before moving over to Victoria and forming with his mate Reg Hawkins PPP, or Preston Premier Pottery. We'll bring that up on episode 2. So back to John Campbell, died 1929. Now his son Colin took over but closed the art section around about 1947. And the factory doors closed in 1976, around about 95 years later, which really is not a bad stint for an Australian pottery works. So what do we have? Again, the designs are quite basic. The shapes are quite easily thrown. On this one here, it's the really nicely applied handle, squat-shaped vase or squat-shaped jug. What I really am attracted to is the glazes, and you'll see a lot of commonalities amongst the Australian pottery as we move through them, especially glazes or pottery of this era. It's again that drippy glaze, and again they use a lot of the Australian colours, the landscapes, the greens and the blues. In this one we've got the multiple blues with a lovely rim of yellow and brown. So that's it for John Campbell. Make sure that you go through your cupboards and the like and look for the name John Campbell on the base. Anyway, that is it for this episode. Join us next episode as we talk about PPP and renewed pottery. Thank you.